Hi, it's Nikki again, and I want to go over with you the discovery and planning part of your website development and talk about why is planning out your website so important. I know you're ready to jump right in and start designing your site, but hold your horses. There's some very important things to take a look at before you even start to design your site. The problem is that most business owners take a looks approach when they start designing their website. They pick the colors, they have a vision for pictures and images that they think are going to convey their message, and you have some ideas for awesome plugins and things that are going to make your site all cutting edge and make your site pop. And that's it. And really, there is so much more to think about. What they're missing is the functionality and strategy that needs to go into their design. So if you think about it, there are 3 questions that visitors to your website ask when they get to your site. And you may not know this, but if you think about it, it makes sense. They're going to ask, what is it? Who is it for? And what do I get? Now, they might not ask these out loud, but in their head, these are the questions that they're looking for. And remember, you have 7 seconds to capture the attention of a visitor to your site to make them stay and go further into your website. And these are the types of questions that they are asking themselves in that 7-second period. So let me show you a few examples of some sites that maybe aren't answering these questions very well, and a site that is, and have you take a look at the difference. So first, let's pull up our first site. Okay, so found this on the internet, and first question we'll ask, well, what is it? Well, at the top, police and public safety training. Okay, but who is it for? Well, it does say public safety, but is it for police or is it for the public? I'm not sure. And what do I get? There's some training availability, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what type of training is for me or for the public. It's just not a very clear message. So let's get rid of that site. Okay. And here's another site that I found, come upon. Okay, so ask yourself, what is it? I'm not entirely sure. On-camera spot partial metering. It's not a very clear message of exactly what it is, possibly around photography. Who is it for? Maybe it's for photographers, or maybe it's for a particular industry that uses cameras or spot metering. And what do I get? Well, that's the most unclear message for sure here. I am not sure what you get at all. So let's get rid of that site. Very, very poor messaging and very unclear as to what that's for. Now let's look at a site that does convey the answers to these questions very well. What is it? Well, upper left corner, I see FreshBooks Cloud Accounting. Okay, so it's an accounting software that's based in the cloud. That's great. Well, who's it for? Very clear message right in the center. Accounting made for you, the non-accountant. Well, that's great. That's me. I'm a business owner. I'm not an accountant. I need simple accounting. Perfect. This is for me. And what do I get? If I look in the center here, join 5 million people using FreshBooks to painlessly send invoices, track time, and capture expenses. And I can try it and get something free for 30 days. Very clear what I get. Awesome. Very clear messaging answering those questions. So I hope you can see the difference as to why you need to make sure you do a little bit of planning. But let's really go into some of that more specifically. There's different stages of website designing, areas that you need to take a look at. And the first one you should do is to define your website plan. Answer some basic questions and refine those into a plan. That's an important process to understand your website's objectives and requirements. And what you need to ask yourself is, what are you aiming to achieve through the website? What is the website going to do? What is its main purpose? And who is our target audience? And how do we attract visitors? And we will go over, there's another very specific video in finding out who is your ideal client, who is your target audience, and who is that one ideal client. We're going to go through that here in a bit in the next video. You also need to map out your website pages and plan your user experience. So what this does is shows a logical hierarchy of your navigation. It includes your primary navigation and then your secondary or sub navigation. Okay, I'm going to show you a chart here in just a minute, and you'll have a worksheet to work off of. But this will lay out your different pages within a website and gives you a pictorial representation of your website architecture. And by doing this, sketching out a sitemap is really going to help you to create a coherent navigation path for your users to follow through your website, letting you lay out your entire user experience. Okay, so let's take a look at this. In this worksheet that you're going to be able to download, it's going to give you space to lay out. You start with your home page at the top and then lay out your main navigation as that first row across the top. These will be the links that people will see on your main navigation row, your primary navigation on the site. If they click or hover over one of those, you may have subcategories, sublinks, or sub-navigation within that category. So let's say, for example, your top navigation says services, and under that maybe you offer 4 different types of services. So each one of those links would be your different services under your sub navigation. Again, you may do this, write them down, edit, refine until you get the perfect navigation flow to really understand what your user will be experiencing as they go through your website. So, very important stage. The next stage is to perform a competitor analysis. By taking a sneak peek at your competitors, there's plenty of reasons that you can see what competitors are doing and will allow you to get inspiration for new ways to connect with your customers and improving your customer retention. You can find out if competitors are doing anything better than you might be and how you might be able to match it. Gives you the chance to look under the hood of their marketing strategy and see what you might be able to legally borrow. Okay, take a look at their social media. You might be able to find out areas that they're advertising. And you can also then improve your own plans to beat the competition based on data rather than just assumptions. So taking a close look at your competitors is very important. What you should do is compare 3 to 5 of your competitor websites, and it may just really help you to find areas that you might be able to improve upon either in design, technology, or marketing. So there might be a feature that a competitor is using that you think would really work well on your website for your target market. So adjust that feature to work for your needs and implement it into your website plan. Then you want to make a wireframe prototype of your site. Okay, there is a number of ways to do this. We will show you this in a later video, but a wireframe is a fundamental line drawing, technically, that will allow you to focus on the layout of your website. A wireframe can show you how your website will look and feel, so you can identify the functionality of the website even before engaging in the development of it. Now, this is meant to be just a very simple layout. So in a later video, we're going to show you how to do this, but there's a number of different tools, even as simple as paper and pen. So drawing out a wireframe, drawing out the prototype of what your website's going to look like is really, really important to give you a visualization. And then you want to evaluate your current copy, your current content that is on your website, if you have a current website and current content. And maybe you don't have a website, maybe you have a brochure, and maybe you have an article. If you have any content you've written, you can take a look at it, but especially on your website, you want to ask yourself these 3 questions. Is the content current or still accurate? Is there anything missing? And is it useful to my readers? And we've always said that stories sell and facts tell. You may feel that your website is a chance to tell your story, and really instead it should tell the stories of others who've benefited from using your products or services. Avoid going on and on about how wonderful your business is. Instead, provide evidence or results, using language too that's familiar with your target audience, not really industry-specific terminology. Again, depending on your business, you need to look at what is going to attract and tell the story of your product and services and your other clients. So testimonials are very, very important. So remember, stories sell, facts tell. And you want to write for humans and for search engines. For those of you that know the importance of writing your copy for SEO, Don't focus too much on injecting key search terms, keywords, too many times into the content, because then it just becomes unreadable and unfriendly for your visitors. So if you are a divorce lawyer, for example, don't say divorce lawyer every few words. Instead, use similar terms and related terms like family law or child custody. And that's going to help to vary your content and allow you to keep words that support your search efforts at the same time. So make sure you're writing for everyone. Very simply, again, it goes back to our philosophy of following SSP, a strategy, system, and plan. And this comes true when you are getting ready to put together your website. Have a strategy of what you're going to do to attract your target market, have a system to get it implemented, and put your plan in action. And there you'll be successful. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.